Welcome to JT Scary Tales. 3 true Tinder horror stories. Dating app nightmares. Dating apps. Swipe left. Swipe right. It seems so simple, until it isn't. 3 people thought they found love, excitement, or just a fun night. Instead, they found something much darker, something lurking behind the screen, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. A charming man with a deadly secret. A seductive woman hiding a horrifying past. And a Tinder match that shouldn't even exist. Tonight, we dive into 3 terrifying Tinder horror stories, where one wrong swipe could mean the difference between life and death. Story 1. The Tinder Cannibal. I never liked dating apps. The idea of swiping through strangers like a deck of cards felt unsettling. But after a brutal breakup, my best friend Lisa convinced me to try Tinder. It'll be fun, just swipe, match, and see where it goes, she said. So, after some hesitation, I gave in. Most of the profiles were unimpressive until I saw Nathan. A sharp jawline, piercing blue eyes, and a bio that read, "The truth isn't always what it seems." I should have taken that as a warning. Instead, I swiped right. The perfect match. Nathan and I matched instantly. We started chatting, and he was witty, intelligent, and charming. He loved Edgar Allan Poe and dark literature, things I had a soft spot for. It didn't take long before he asked me out for dinner at his place. I hesitated at first, but his texts were so polite, so respectful, that I ignored every red flag and agreed. Dinner at his place. Nathan's apartment was surprisingly elegant, minimalist but with expensive furniture and shelves filled with books. "Wow, you really live like a poet," I joked. He smiled. I like things simple. The dinner was candlelit, which I found oddly romantic and eerie at the same time. The flickering flames cast strange shadows across Nathan's face, making his sharp features look almost predatory. But I ignored the chill creeping down my spine. We ate, drank wine, and talked about art and music. For a moment, I let my guard down. Then Nathan leaned in and said, "Let me show you something." He led me to the balcony. "You'll love the view," he whispered. "Something smells off." The city lights twinkled below, but the air smelled strange. A heavy, meaty scent filled my nostrils, making me wrinkle my nose. "Something smells weird," I said, glancing toward a covered grill in the corner. Nathan chuckled, too casually. "Just a little lamb burger," he said, lifting the grill's lid. My stomach twisted. The meat was charred, almost black. But what really made me sick was the long strand of blonde hair tangled around it. My heart pounded. "Whoa, that doesn't look right," I mumbled, stepping back. Nathan's expression shifted instantly. The warmth disappeared. His blue eyes darkened. His jaw tightened. "You'll love the taste," he said, his voice eerily low. "Just give it a try." "Sarah." My blood ran cold. I never told him my real name. The horror unfolds. I spun around to leave. But Nathan grabbed my wrist, hard. "You're not going anywhere," he growled. I screamed, struggling against his iron grip. "Let me go." His breathing was heavy, almost desperate. "Don't you see?" he hissed. "We're meant to be together. Forever." The stench of burnt flesh grew stronger. Panic surged through me as I thrashed, knocking over a metal bucket in the corner. The clang echoed through the night. And then I saw it. Inside the bucket were bleached bones and a human skull. I froze. My breath caught in my throat. Nathan lunged. "Don't ruin the food, Sarah," he shrieked. The fight for survival. With pure adrenaline, I reached for the first thing I could grab, a metal spatula from the grill. I swung blindly. The thick metal smacked against Nathan's temple with a sickening thud. He staggered back, clutching his head. I ran, bolting through the apartment. I ripped open the front door and flew down the hallway. I barely registered the neighbors peeking out as I pounded on doors, screaming for help. The aftermath. By the time the police arrived, Nathan was still unconscious in his apartment. The officers stormed inside while I was escorted to safety. But I couldn't stop shaking. Couldn't erase the image of that skull. The next morning, the news broke. Suspected serial killer arrested in cannibal case. The police found a hidden room in Nathan's apartment, filled with the remains of multiple women. Women who had matched with him on dating apps. Women who never made it home. I was the only survivor. The nightmare never ends. The days that followed were a blur. Lisa begged me to delete Tinder, but I had already sworn off dating apps forever. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Nathan's voice. We were meant to be together forever. I still wake up in the middle of the night gasping for air. And I swear, sometimes, I can still smell the meat burning. Inspired by true events. This story is based on real cases where people were lured into deadly traps through dating apps. Predators hide behind charming profiles. And some matches are a one-way ticket to hell. Swipe carefully, because you never know who's really on the other side. Story 2. The woman in the bungalow. It happened 9 years ago, but the memory still haunts me. I met Vanessa on Tinder. She was 36, recently divorced, and lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside the city. At 28, I wasn't looking for anything serious, just some fun. And Vanessa? She seemed perfect. We clicked instantly. We bonded over classic rock, horror movies, and a shared love for whiskey. You like the Rolling Stones? No way. They're my favorite band. I saw them live back in '99, best night of my life. She said, laughing. She had this effortless charm. The kind of confidence that came with experience. It wasn't long before she invited me to meet up for drinks at a bar she loved. I should have known something was wrong when I stepped inside. The bar that felt off. The place was old, dimly lit, with wooden booths and a jukebox playing nothing but 80s rock. It had this strange, out-of-time feeling. Then Vanessa walked in. She was stunning, long, dark hair, piercing green eyes, and a figure that made my jaw drop. "Ethan, you're cuter in person," she smirked. Sliding into the booth, we flirted, drank whiskey, and talked about life. She was blunt about her intentions. "I'm not looking for anything serious," she said, leaning in. "Just a fun night." Sounds perfect to me. I grinned. By the time we left, we were both tipsy, laughing as she grabbed my hand. "Let's go back to my place," she whispered. I didn't hesitate. The bungalow in the dark. Her Victorian-style bungalow sat alone at the end of a quiet street. Surrounded by towering trees, under the moonlight, it looked almost gothic, beautiful, but a little eerie. My drunken brain ignored the warning bells in my gut. Inside, the place was impeccably decorated. Dark wood paneling, antique furniture, vintage paintings. But there was one thing that felt out of place. A large, creamy white carpet in the middle of the living room. It clashed horribly with the rest of the decor. "Nice place," I said, taking in the odd atmosphere. Vanessa poured us another round of whiskey and we settled onto the couch. Her touch was intoxicating, her confidence magnetic. Everything was going great, until I messed up. The moment everything changed, a wave of nausea hit me out of nowhere. I stumbled as my stomach twisted in protest. Before I could stop myself, I vomited all over the carpet. A horrible silence filled the room. Vanessa froze. Then her face contorted in rage. "You ruined my carpet," she shrieked, grabbing a mop. "I'm sorry," I stammered, wiping my mouth. "I didn't mean to." She wasn't listening. Her green eyes blazed with fury. This was the only thing in this house that wasn't tainted by my ex-husband. "And now you've covered it in filth." She was shaking with anger. Something about the way she reacted sent a chill through me. I suddenly felt very sober. Something wasn't right. The escape. "I should go," I muttered, backing toward the door. Her expression darkened. For a moment, she just stared at me. Then she smiled, a slow, eerie grin. "Yeah, you should," she said, her voice too calm. I didn't waste a second. I mumbled one last apology, grabbed my jacket, and hurried outside. As I walked to my car, I felt her watching me from the porch. Even as I drove away, my hands gripping the steering wheel tight, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had just dodged something horrible. The news that shocked me. 9 years later, I saw her face on the news. The headline? Local woman arrested. Secret torture chamber found in basement. I stared at the screen, my stomach twisting in horror. Vanessa had been kidnapping, torturing, and murdering young men for years. And the worst part? The police found evidence of cannibalism. Token souvenirs from past lovers. And then, they revealed the most horrifying discovery. The creamy white carpet, It was made of stitched together human skin. I almost became one of them. I felt sick. My mind flashed back to that night. To the rage in her eyes. To the way she obsessed over the carpet. I had been seconds away from becoming her next victim. And the only thing that saved me? Throwing up on her prized possession. Final warning. I deleted Tinder that night. I haven't used a dating app since. Because you never really know who's on the other side of the screen. And sometimes, a perfect match can lead you straight to hell. Story 3. The ghost on Tinder. I never believed in the supernatural. Ghosts, spirits, the afterlife. It all seemed like something out of a horror movie. That was until I met Liam. It started with a simple swipe right. The match that shouldn't have happened. Liam's profile caught my eye immediately. He had messy blonde hair, a sun-kissed tan, and an easygoing smile. Every picture showed him on a beach, surfing, or traveling. His bio was simple. Adventure is out there. Let's find it together. I messaged him first. So, where's the best place you've surfed? To my surprise, he replied instantly. Australia. You ever been? We clicked right away. His texts were charming, funny, and effortless. Within a few hours, we made plans to meet at a pub downtown. I was excited, but Liam never showed up. The first red flag. I waited for over an hour. I sent him a message. Hey, where are you? I've been waiting. A few minutes later, he replied, I'm here, by the jukebox. Where are you? I frowned. I was standing right next to the jukebox. There was no one there. Are you messing with me? I texted back. No response. Annoyed, I left. But something about it bothered me. The second attempt. The next day, Liam apologized. Sorry about last night. Must have been bad timing. Let's try again? Coffee this time? I hesitated, but against my better judgment, I agreed. Once again, I waited at the cafe. Once again, Liam never showed. I sent him a message. Are you ghosting me? Because this is weird. His response sent a chill down my spine. He sent me a photo of the cafe from that very night. It was empty. I stared at the message, my heart pounding. Where are you? I asked. No reply. That was it. I blocked his number and deleted Tinder. The night I saw him. Months passed, and I had completely forgotten about Liam. Until one night at a club, I saw him. Or at least, I thought I did. Same messy blonde hair, same blue beaded necklace from his profile pictures. He stood at the edge of the crowd, staring right at me. My breath caught in my throat. Liam? I whispered. I pushed through the crowd toward him. But when I got there, he was gone. A cold wave of dread washed over me. Something wasn't right. The truth that broke me. That night, I unblocked Liam's number. I had to know. I called. No ring. Just silence. Then, minutes later, I got a message. It was a photo of the nightclub. From that very night, every hair on my body stood on end. I texted back. What the hell is going on? His response was a newspaper clipping with a familiar picture. Liam's picture. The headline read, Surfer found dead. Fourth victim of the Tinder poisoner. I stared in horror. It was dated 6 months ago. Liam had been dead before I ever matched with him. The last message. I felt sick. My hands shook as I typed. Who are you? A response came immediately. Thank you for setting me free. Then, my phone buzzed one last time. Another photo. Of me, sitting on my couch, taken from behind. I spun around, my heart hammering, but my apartment was empty. Except for one thing. On the floor, where no one had been before, lay a blue beaded necklace. Liam's necklace. I don't use dating apps anymore. Because some matches never stop watching you. The end. Thanks for watching. Do you love spine-chilling stories and eerie mysteries? You've come to the right place. At JT Scary Tales, we bring you the most terrifying and thrilling scary tales from around the world. From haunted places to unexplained phenomena, our scary tales will keep you on the edge of your seat. Subscribe now and dive into the dark world of scary tales.